Welcome to the 2018 workshop on free energy methods, kinetics, and Markov state models in drug design. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Michael Schnieders, and I'm a professor at the University of Iowa. I want to make an apology that I'm running on about half speed. My plane got into Boston last night at about 2 a.m., and I made it to my hotel at about 3 a.m., so I got about 1 or 2 hours of good sleep. So I'm going to try to keep the intro quite succinct, and then I'm looking forward to Dr. Mirko not only waking and inspiring everybody, but waking me up as well. I wanted to just give one slide here to kind of remind everyone a little bit about the history of this meeting series. The first initial meeting was in 2010 at the Vertex Cambridge site. It lasted about 3 days with 65 participants. 2012 was the second iteration, again 3 days, up to 85 participants. 2014, it moved to the new Vertex Boston site to accommodate more people, up to, still 3 days, but up to 116 attendees. In 2016, it was the first iteration of this meeting that had a free energy-centric portion, and then also a kinetics, an MSM-centric portion. So at two different sites, the FE portion was at Vertex, and the MSM portion was at a different auditorium here at Novartis. But we're up to 5 days and 160 attendees. This iteration, we are now had a kickoff at Silicon RX, and then and now we have 4 more days here at Novartis. But up to 200 attendees over the 4 days. Obviously, we have about 170 chairs, so not all 200 people are going to be here the full 4 days. So we've tried to really work hard to do our best to accommodate as many people as possible. And so I'm sorry for this long-winded history. The main point here is be thinking about if we want to have another iteration of this meeting in 2020, consider how the meeting might evolve and let the organizers know. So thanks to all of my fellow organizers, John Chodera, Antonio May, Yana Shin, Greg Bowman, David Mobley, Woody Sherman, Callum Dixon here at Novartis, and myself. And one thing that I'd like you to consider is this was the first time for this meeting that we've really had a long wait list. So despite accommodating more people than ever before, the hardest thing this year was there's 30 or 40 more people who were interested in coming. We just didn't have enough chairs, so that was pretty hard. So, do we think about, what do we do about that going forward? Do we still cap it at 200, or is there something else we want to do? So the workshop goals, sort of from the beginning, have been to bring together experts from pharma and supporting industries, which I think is a big unique aspect of this meeting, is it has a nice mix of people from both pharma, software companies, and academia. To identify big challenges in applying free energy methods and MSMs to drug design and help chart the path forward. To discuss use cases, pitfalls, and their solutions. And then also I want to emphasize that we can learn a great deal from failure, which has been something that's been echoed at this meeting from the beginning. So it's great to hear about your success stories, but it's also useful to hear detailed insights into failures and what's still not working. So a big thanks to our hosts, both Novartis and Silicon RX. This is they have to take time out of their normal schedule to accommodate this, so thank you very much. We appreciate it. We also want to thank our sponsors, Accelera, AstraZeneca, Bicky Technologies, Crescent, Instasis Therapeutics, Genentech, OpenEye, Quantum Bio, Schrödinger, and Vertex. That helps us to keep the registration fee low and still supply food during the meeting. So we thank our sponsors. A few logistics. We have a variety of social media to let people who aren't at the meeting, and even people who are at the meeting, take part more fully. So there is a Twitter hashtags, drug alchemical, drug MSM, and then you can also add pound discuss if you would like to suggest a discussion topic. We're going to have some, over the week, some moderated discussions over lunchtime, and so any suggestions can be brought up then. There's also a Slack site, alchemistry.slack.com. And as I mentioned before, despite our largest attendee list ever, we did end up with a pretty long waiting list. And so we're going to do our best to post all the talks on YouTube. And Levi is helping with that. He's down front. Thanks, Levi.
If you're speaking, I have to have you sign a release form for that. So come see me before your talk, and whether that's today, the day of your talk, or even during the discussions, I'll be here.
We also want to make people aware that we have a meeting code of conduct. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph. So our conference is dedicated to providing a harassment-free conference experience for everyone, regardless of gender, gender identity and expression, age, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, ethnicity, religion, or lack thereof, or technology choices. The technology choices, it makes me chuckle a little bit too. It is part of the code of conduct that we adapted this from, and we had some chuckles over the mailing list regarding that one too. So we decided to keep it. I do want to make everyone aware this is sort of a late addition to the schedule. Following the talks today, there's going to be a poster session, and then following the talks tomorrow, there's going to be a reception at Pagu, which is from Novartis. You just turn left on Massachusetts Avenue and walk one block. So tomorrow at 6:30, there'll be a reception at Pagu hosted by Schrödinger. And this is up on the meeting website now as well. But I wanted to make you aware of that because it's sort of a late addition to the schedule. All right, so the schedule for today is there will be two topics, free energy simulations in the real world, and then after lunch, a second session called Increasing the Domain of Applicability of Free Energy Simulations, Salt, pH, Force Fields, and Proteins. Just a couple of comments about the poster session. It's going to be on the second floor. It's the Novartis cafeteria, and so we won't be able to set up posters, of course, until after lunch, after the cafeteria isn't in use by the Novartis company. All right, so now I get to have the great pleasure of introducing Dr. Mark Mirko. I'll try to keep this introduction short. It's going to have sort of three short pieces. The first piece will be the traditional piece about a little bit about his training and career. The second piece will be about the large impact he's had on this meeting series. And then the third will be what a person in my lab said when I told them that I had the honor of introducing Dr. Mirko, why they were excited about that. It may not be why you think they were excited. So Dr. Mirko got his Bachelor of Science in Chemistry and Applied Mathematics from Fairfield University. He went on to get his PhD in chemistry at Yale, and then started his career at Merck before joining one of the first people to join Vertex, and served as both Chief Technology Officer and Chair of the Scientific Advisory Board for more than 20 years. And Dr. Mirko made key contributions to all 5 marketed Vertex products. And then he's also served as a senior advisor to Schrödinger for 10 years. He's a member of numerous scientific advisory boards, and currently is the chief scientific officer at Relay Therapeutics. And so when Dr. Mirko was at Vertex, he played a large role in getting this meeting started initially and supporting it. And he's also played a large role over the span of these 5 meetings in laying out a big picture vision for where free energy simulations fit into drug design. And I think we're going to have an exciting, hear more exciting news on that today. Now, the third part I'd like to talk about is I told one of my students that I would have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Mirko. And the students' eyes got big, and it was clear that I'd gained some credibility with them, that I got to do this. And so I thought, well, were they impressed because of Dr. Mirko's contributions to HIV drugs or cystic fibrosis drugs or hepatitis C drugs? But no, that was not what impressed the student. The student goes, is that the person who did the Mirko fragments? And so the student was actually working on parameterizing molecules for force fields and was using a Mirko fragmentation method to divide up molecules. So didn't know anything about probably what Dr. Mirko maybe considers more important contributions, but the student was quite excited about fragmentation. So thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks. Thanks for that introduction.